Hey guys, SaintsKnight's 2883 here. Welcome you guys back to the channel here with another top 10 video, and continuing off from our last top 10 video, where my top 10 worst movies of 2017. Today we are going to be celebrating the best movies that 2017 had to offer. Now, 2017 was no doubt an amazing, fantastic year for movies, for a lot of films, and this list in particular are just some of my personal favorite movies of this year. Now, honestly, I gotta be honest, the top 3 on this list, this was the most difficult choice I had to do. Put them in third, second, and first. But eventually, it took me weeks, but finally, it's here, the list in full. And as always, on these list videos, if you don't agree or disagree with any of these of what I said or whatever place I put it, that's great. This is just my own silly personal opinion, so take this list with just a grain of salt. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do like this video, then please smash the thumbs up button. And here we go. Now let's start the countdown. Alright, number 10 on this list, kicking things off, the newest addition to the Fast and Furious franchise, The Fate of the Furious, or Fast and Furious 8 if you're over here in the United Kingdom. Now, obviously it's not going to be the best of the Fast and Furious films. You would imagine that this wouldn't be the best of the Fast and Furious films because it's the first one without Paul Walker, and Paul Walker sort of like brought the franchise together as a whole. But actually, this pretty much stands out on its own. Actually, it's got good car scenes, a lot of good choices in cars, I must say. Let's see what else. Actually, good fight. Actually, good action, and surprisingly enough, 2 things that were actually surprising for the Fast and Furious franchise: a brilliant villain played by Charlize Theron, very nice, and what do you call it? And what is it? It actually had some emotion as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get time to do a movie review of this because this film was out before we started film reviews. But if I were to go back and do film review of this, I'd honestly, if I were to give it a verdict, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, slightly above average, but good enough to make the top 10 list. So number 10, The Fate of the Furious. Number 9 on this list, the second film in the Keanu Reeves action flick, John Wick Chapter 2. Now, I loved the very first John Wick. I actually thought that Keanu Reeves was good in it. I thought it had good acting, and it honestly had some of the best action scenes, choreography of any film, honestly. I mean, it really is that good. Actually, it really was that good. Now, this time, Chapter 2, for me, it brought everything to a whole new level, and I like it. But the thing is, it didn't take any risks with it, but that's okay, because John Wick's John Wick. I mean, he does the same shtick here, but honestly, the best thing about John Wick Chapter 2, honestly, is the action scenes in it. Like, anything with a fight, anything with guns, masterpiece. This is probably one of the best action films I've ever seen. Ever, honestly. I mean, I was going to choose either this or Atomic Blonde as number 9, but I felt that John Wick was a better action movie. And if I was to do, again, we didn't do a film review of this, but if I were to do one, I'd give John Wick Chapter 2 a 7 out of 10. It is a good movie. I recommend it if you guys are a fan of action movies. You know? So, John Wick Chapter 2 is number 9 on this list. Okay, number 8 on this list is the newest film done by director Edgar Wright, Baby Driver. Now, the reason why I love the previous two movies, John Wick and Fate of the Furious, Fate of the Furious, I liked it mainly because I'm a car lover, mainly. I'm a petrol head, I'm a gearhead at heart. And the Fate of the Furious just fully embodies it, you know? And the reason why I love John Wick is because of the action. Baby Driver takes both aspects of both franchises, puts them in a blender, and just completely transforms it into something beautiful. I mean, Baby Driver is probably one of the best, if not the best, car movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, everything about this film made me laugh. Like, every joke was on point. The writing by Edgar Wright, superb. The driving choreography, best thing about this movie. And I can't talk about this last thing, the acting, without talking about a particular actor that was in it. Now, I'm not going to be talking about Jamie Foxx or John Hamm, who I love. I'm talking about Kevin Spacey. Now, you lot can say, this is probably going to get me a lot of downvote, or a lot of dislikes in this video, but despite what's been said about him in the press, I love his acting. I mean, I love Kevin Spacey's acting. And even in Baby Driver, he's superb. Hell, that's why I was disappointed whenever they cancelled House of Cards and put Robin Wright as the Okay, I'm dawdling here. The point is, Baby Driver, a really great movie. And again, another film I didn't do a review on, but if I were to do a review on it, I would have given it an 8 out of 10. Great movie. Baby Driver, number 8. Number 7 is actually a sequel that nobody was really expecting, honestly. T2, Trainspotting, or Trainspotting 2, or Trainspotting 2. And honestly, not only is this one of the most unnecessary sequels out there, but actually one of the best sequels I have ever seen. I mean, I love... one of my personal favorite movies is the original Trainspotting. It was so good. And when I heard that the original cast were getting back for Trainspotting 2, I fell in love with it. I really wanted Trainspotting 2, and when I saw it, oh my god. There was just... in this theater, there was just a huge smile, this huge grin on my face because I was enjoying it so much. I mean, the original cast nailed it. I mean, especially Ewan McGregor's Mark Renton, and honestly, Robert Carlyle, Begsby. Oh, perfect. I mean, Trainspotting 2. Nobody could have seen Trainspotting 2 coming. I mean, hell, even Ewan McGregor and all didn't expect it. Neither did the director, Danny Boyle, who once again directs for Trainspotting 2. But that's what's so good about it. It's unusual, it's unique, and it's so fun. That's the main thing of it, is fun. Now, is it as good as the original Trainspotting? No. It's an easy no. I mean, the original one is a cult classic. It personified choose life, which is actually a quote that I aspire to these days. But it didn't need to be, and that's what I like about Trainspotting 2. You don't have to watch the first film nor to understand this one. I mean, there was a lot of people in the theater that didn't watch the first Trainspotting, and yet they didn't get lost. They were able to jump onto the story. They were able to catch up and know who all those people are and the situation and all that sort of stuff. Again, I didn't do a review of this, so if I were to give this a verdict out of 10, I would have given it a 8 out of 10. Really good movie. Really great movie, actually, and I recommend it for you guys if you either like the original Trainspotting or haven't seen the original Trainspotting and are like, I don't want to see the original Trainspotting. Go watch the original Trainspotting. You will love it. But for now, T2 Trainspotting number 7 on this list. Number 6 now on the list is a horror movie actually that I wasn't expecting to be put on this list, but I had to. It's a Stephen King horror movie. You all know what it is. It's It. It. But I couldn't leave it off this list. I mean, I loved it. I mean, every single thing. Actually, I'm a fan. I am a huge fan of the novel. Actually, so much so that I actually have a copy of the original book here. That's how much of a fan I am of Stephen King's It. And when I saw that it was going to be made into a movie, I loved it. I mean, hell, this was not only one of the scariest movies I've seen of 2017, but it was also one of the most Stephen King of Stephen King movies. You know what? I've done a movie review on this film that I'm going to leave the link to in the description down below. So if you want a in-depth, my in-depth opinion on it, then there's a link in the description down below for it. So all I'm just going to say is, it's scary, the child actors are brilliant, and hell, even Pennywise, the dancing clown, is actually really scary, as he's supposed to be. But anyways, it lands its spot on the list at number 6. Number 5 on this list is another unusual one that I didn't think I was going to put on this, but decided I couldn't think of the reason why not. It is the latest adaptation of the Agatha Christie novel Murder on the Orient Express. Now, again, we've done a review of Murder on the Orient Express, so if you want a full in-depth analysis on it, then again, link's going to be in the description down below. But to summarize, I thought that it threw me off the loop multiple times, which a good detective movie should do. The cinematography was beautiful, as was the soundtrack. The cast was actually well performed as well. So honestly, there was a lot of that's why I put Murder on the Orient Express at number 5 on this list. Now, number 4 on this list is a superhero movie. The it is called, many of you will know it, it's actually the latest Wolverine movie, Logan. Now, the reason why I put this at number 4 is because not only is it one of the best comic book movies out there, but it is also one of the most emotional, best acted, and beautiful movies I have ever seen in my entire life. Hell, I mean, I won't spoil it because a lot. I mean, hell, even talking about this movie is getting me a little bit worked up. But Logan, if you've seen the film, then you know how good Logan is. I mean, from start to end, Logan is a masterpiece. I mean, the acting done by Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, amazing. And because it's a 15, the violence, the gore, it is absolutely everything that we wanted in a Wolverine movie. I mean, my God, it is everything that we wanted from a Wolverine movie for ages, man. Ages. I mean, finally, a Wolverine movie with blood, gore, and huge amounts of violence. And a fitting end to both Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman as their last ever times of playing Hugh Jackman and Professor Xavier. That's why Logan is number 4 on this list. Number 3, and honestly, these next 3 were tough choices to make, but eventually, after weeks of deliberation, I finally came to this conclusion. Number 3, The Disaster Artist. Now, The Disaster Artist, again, link in the description for a more in-depth analysis on The Disaster Artist. But The Disaster Artist is at number 3 because it is one of the most funniest films I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. And James Franco deserves an Oscar for his performance and direction of this of this movie. Hell, I mean, to summarize, I could go on forever about this, but to summarize it, the acting was superb, all the jokes were absolutely top notch, the story was surprisingly enough based in reality, so surprisingly enough, it does stick to the true story of all that. And it was actually a heartwarming film, honestly. Well, surprisingly, actually. So yeah, The Disaster Artist is number 3 on this list. Number 2 is a rather controversial one to some people, because number 2 is an unexpected one for people who know me. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, again, description, go check for in-depth analysis, but basically, I personally think that this is one of the best Star Wars movies I've ever seen. Acting, top-notch. Action, superb. Sounds, from the sound effects to visual effects to soundtrack, score, everything was top-notch. Everything got stepped up from Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and was continued on from it. The acting as well, superb by everyone, including Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver. A lot of them put in a fantastic performance, and some of the new worlds were so creative and unique and had its own little individual backstory, as did all the creatures, all the inhabitants, all the people, everything. And that's why, actually, the reason why this wasn't number 2 is because of the film that I put in number 1. But still, The Last Jedi is a really, really good movie, and I recommend you guys go see it. It's actually out in theaters as of the recording of this, or as of the time of release of this video. So go check it out. Star Wars The Last Jedi, number 2. And so, here we are, the number 1 best movie of 2017. And you guys thought that, and I bet you guys thought that you'd guessed my number one. You guys thought it would be Star Wars The Last Jedi, but it wasn't until I realized that. It wasn't until till I watched this movie, then I realized this had to be number one. What film am I talking about? Well, the number one best movie of 2017, War for the Planet of the Apes. Again, link in the description for a more in-depth analysis on it, but I am going to gush over it anyway. So. This is by far and away the best movie of the year. Because every single thing about it was perfect to me. Story, villain, characters, soundtrack, visual effects, acting, every single thing about this was perfect. I mean, Andy Serkis, who plays Caesar, does a phenomenal, fantastic, sensational job of portraying Caesar once again, and just it was one of the most emotional movies I'd ever seen. I mean, if Logan made me cry a little bit, if a film can get me to cry about an animal, then my God, it really knows how to tug on the heartstrings. War for the Planet of the Apes does that in spades. It really does. It's superb. It's fantastic. I loved every moment of it, and I just didn't want it to end. It really was that great of a movie. I highly recommend War for the Planet of the Apes for everybody. Children, boys, girls, children, men, women, transgenders, anybody, just go out and watch War for the Planet of the Apes. It is the best movie of 2017 by far and away. And with this last film in the trilogy of the Apes movies, it is also probably going to be marked down in history as the best trilogy of all time, or one of them at least. So there we have it, War for the Planet of the Apes, my personal number one top movie of 2017. Now, what did you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there any films that you could put at number one that are only on this list? Or if you have your own list, then please feel free to put in the description down, actually in the comment section, your choices. Or your lists, actually. And with that, I'm afraid it's now time to end today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, then please smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you're not new, don't forget to turn on the post notifications. Simple to do, really. All you gotta do is click the bell icon next to the subscribe button, tick the box, enabling all notifications to the channel, press save, then boom. You get instant notifications on when we go live or when we post a new video. And apart from that, guys, we'll see you in the next video. So until then, guys, as always, peace.